soif. Tu bois sans dire à tout.
What's going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circular Jerks podcast. It's a conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. We are back again with another week, another live stream for you. As always, co-hosting this thing with me is the homeboy Rob.
What's going on?
And it's probably someone just got murdered right outside his house.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's been nuts. Last few weeks, and I don't know if it's because of all the stuff that's going on in the country, but man, it has been Siren Central down here.
Well, I think it's I hate to say this because I hate when I hear this on mainstream media that's unprecedented. This is unprecedented times. I know. You roll your eyes, I'll roll my eyes. I fucking hate it too. But
first of all, a lot of things are unprecedented. We have a very young country. Of course, there's going to be times where things are unprecedented. It's not like we've, the United States has lasted for 2,000 years.
Mm-hmm. Right. But this is one of the only times where we don't have release valves. There's no bars to go to. There's no place. There's no restaurants to go to. There's no theaters to go to. There's no there's no recreation.
True.
To help blow off steam and such.
Yeah, but people can come watch us, and that might be a release.
That's true. I mean, yeah, after we go off on one of our tangents and rants, we always say we have achieved catharsis.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I think this might be I think this stream tonight, because we're not doing any news topics. We're focusing on something more fun. There will be a rant. Trust me, I do have a rant.
Right.
On one of the reviews, but you grab yourself a premium Rolling Rock and listen to us talk wax poetically about some westerns.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually thinking about what news topics or what in the news or culture we could opine about, but I mean, with the inauguration set for tomorrow, to be completely honest, I couldn't care less about the inauguration tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not because my guy's not going in or whatever, but it's just I'm so over it because everything is so political, and I'm just I want to be left alone. It would be nice if one thing could not be touched by politics.
Yeah.
And and even if it was our preferred candidate or whatever, I don't think we'd be talking that much about it anyways.
True.
We might be saying, man, we dodged a bullet or whatever, but just I think that might have been the extent of it. Just but yeah,
I agree.
But really we're just because really there's no news there yet. We're waiting for tomorrow to happen, and then who knows what's gonna happen. And
could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting, or it could be a complete snooze fest. But right now we don't know, so there's nothing really to talk about. So I don't really have the energy or enthusiasm to try and opine or talk about certain theories that are out there going on. It's whatever. I mean, the only thing I'll say is that similarly how I said when Trump was president, I support him like I support the driver of my bus that I'm currently riding. Same thing for Biden. I hope he does a good job. I'll be praying for him.
Just don't crash the bus.
Yeah, just don't crash the bus. That is the very low standard I am setting for our elected officials. Just don't crash the bus. Don't crash the bus.
I don't need your life story.
Right.
I don't need a lot of bells and whistles. Just don't crash the bus.
I don't need you to do like some fancy driving and do some like drifts or whatever. I just need you to drive the bus, keep it on the road. Keep your hands on 10 and 2, and don't crash the bus.
This isn't Speed. This is just Drive the Bus.
Exactly.
That might be a fun movie to talk about at some point.
I love that movie when it first came out.
I think it was
particularly just here.
Slow down.
And there's your Simpsons reference for tonight. Or maybe the first Simpsons reference for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why. Just that movie. I think it was the swearing because it was like the first time I heard shit said in like a very comical way.
Yeah, I think
like that opening not the opening scene, but like kind of like the scene where it starts getting up into the main story with Keanu Reeves' character, and he commandeers a vehicle, and he like the owner of the car is still with him, and then he's Keanu's driving all crazy, and then he just like starts like kind of in a panic, like oh shit, just like, and it's so hilarious, like the delivery and everything, and just like his reaction to everything. It was just so hilarious to me as a young 9 to 10-year-old boy.
Yeah, that was definitely a good one. I had to admit.
Yeah, I didn't see the sequel to it, although I hear it's really bad.
It's garbage.
Hence why I haven't watched it.
It's MST3K worthy for sure.
Okay.
The whatchamacallit? The it's funny in The Simpsons, like Milhouse is like, wow, it's like Speed 2, but like with a bus instead of a boat. It's
yeah.
Which is funny because that means that like he watched Speed 2 and didn't watch the original.
Right. Yeah, he watched the garbage one and missed the superior first one.
Which fits Milhouse to a T.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Because he traded a person's soul for some pogs.
That is true. God, Milhouse is awesome.
I know. Milhouse is the worst.
But yeah, well, should we dive in to our reviews?
Why not?
I got a lot to say. I've
Yeah, I know you're the pump has been primed with you. But before we get let's do your movie.
We're doing mine?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right. The first review for tonight is the movie The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, starring
Valance.
Valance. Sorry, I don't know why, but I just wanted it just goes into what did I say?
You said Liberty Vance.
Oh yeah, I don't know why, but it just wants me. I wanted to go there instead of Valance.
I will say that it's a little bit. It's a wordy title.
Yeah. But for some reason, like Liberty and Valance just doesn't roll off my tongue as easily as Liberty Vance.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe you're thinking like The Legend of Bagger Vance, which is not a good movie.
I know, one of the rare misses with Will Smith.
Yeah.
at least in like the height of his career,
Yeah, that was kind of like when that came out. I was like, okay, awesome, Will Smith. It's like, and I watched him like, oh yeah, this is not good.
I mean, I personally haven't seen the movie, but I heard from what I hear from other people, it's like, yeah, it wasn't his best.
I might revisit it just because I haven't. It's been years now since it's come out. I watched it in theaters when it came out, and I didn't like it then. Maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know.
Maybe. All right. All right. Questions arise when Senator Senator Stoddard attends a funeral of a local man named it is Donovan. Donovan in a small western town. Flashing back, we learn Donovan saved Stoddard, then a lawyer, when he was roughed up by a crew of outlaws terrorizing the town, led by Liberty Valance. As the territory's safety hung in the balance, Donovan and Stoddard, two of the only people standing up to him, proved to be very important but different foes to Valance.
This movie is my favorite Western so far. I mean, there's still so many that I have not seen.
Mm-hmm.
This movie to me is it's a masterpiece. It's like I said, John Wayne. Like when you put him in the right lane, he hits home run after home run. This is his lane. He's so great in this movie, and he shows that he's a great actor. Jimmy Stewart, another fantastic. Is
Jimmy
young.
Stewart's solid. Jimmy Stewart's solid.
Yeah, as Ransom Stoddard. He's not the shucks, Mr. Smith goes to Washington. No, this is.
Yeah, in a way, he does kind of start off like as that naive kind of character that he does play in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. But, he kind of wises himself up a bit. I mean, not to the extent where he gets to be, like John Wayne, but, he wises himself up enough to, become part of the community and become dependent on.
Yeah, and you have those two and then Lee Marvin as Liberty Valance is, man, he is an awesome guy. Like he's really. And even all the supporting characters like Mr. Peabody.
You froze
you
up
have
there for a second.
Oh, what I was saying is that even some of the side characters, like Mr. Peabody, the Shinbone Star, editor, the newspaperman.
Right.
You have the Pompey, the John Wayne's sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all these characters are just they're really good. The town marshal, who's just this fat bumbling oaf.
Yeah. I forget who that actor is, but he's done like a lot of voice work, hasn't he?
He's done a lot of voice work. He's been in a lot of these old westerns.
Right. Yeah. Like he's his. I mean, I don't remember him like maybe in like his live action stuff, but I recognize the voice.
Yeah, great character actor.
Yeah. Hold on, let me look at that up real fast. Oh, Andy Devine.
Yeah, he's definitely been in a bunch. I think he's dead now, but he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Let's see. Oh yeah, he passed away a long time ago in 1977.
But so the thing I really like about this movie is one thing to note is there was. They didn't really have a huge budget for this film.
Mm-hmm.
They, initially the.
He almost shares our birthday too.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, he's born on the 7th though.
Close enough.
Close enough.
This movie was supposed to be shot in color. They wanted to do it in VistaVision or one of those fancy. And they were trying to. The director was trying to shoot it on location somewhere, and the studio was like, "Nope, we're not doing that."
Right,
and the other problem is the reason they didn't want to. They ended up not shooting in colors because John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart they were much older men at the time. They were in their 50s, yet they were going to be playing characters that are 30 years younger.
Right.
So black and white kind of worked for it. You kind of
hide the flaws. Yeah, hide the flaws.
Yeah, it's suspended disbelief that they were playing younger men.
Yeah. I mean for the young, maybe the younger audience members, it's kind of like that meme With what's his face? Oh God, why am I spacing on his name? But he was in Reservoir Dogs. He was Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
Or Boardwalk Empires. It's just like it's like that. Me is like, oh, hello, fellow kids.
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, for you youngsters out there, it's kind of the equivalent of that.
Right. And so there was that reason why it was in black and white. So it was actually kind of it was necessary for them to do that, but it also became kind of a choice too, because it, like I said, it hides those flaws. But the thing about the story that like it kind of bugs me a little bit is because John Wayne's character Tom Donovan, he had everything going for him, and the fact that he pretty much he put his neck on the line to save Ransom Stoddard, Jimmy Stewart's character, and kind of protected him from like himself almost, because and his naivete, and yet it cost Tom everything. He lost his woman, he lost his livelihood, he kind of lost his reputation. And it's
well, in a weird way, he parted some of his reputation onto him, like especially with the whole affair of Ransom, supposedly killing Liberty Valance.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel, because this is probably about like the third or fourth time I've watched this movie now, and the more I watch it, like I kind of like, I wonder why Tom cared so much, because he's like, he didn't want to watch that guy die. He don't want, because Ransom Stoddard was going to get himself killed. He couldn't shoot to save his life. He was going to get himself killed. And I don't know if maybe it was just kind of like the motivation was because he wanted to protect Rance, because that was what the female lead, what's her name? I want to say
Haley.
Haley. Thank you. Haley is she really cares for Rance, and maybe like he felt that maybe by protecting him, that would be kind of like something that helps solidify their relationship, because they're not together, but like everyone kind of realizes that like it's
well, everyone knows that Tom definitely has feelings for her, and she like and to a certain extent, I think she has feelings for him as well. Being probably the most desirable bachelor in that small town of Shinville.
Oh yeah, he was the talk of the town. He was like, everyone like wanted to hang out with Tom Donovan, and he was the only man that right from the very beginning is like, Liberty Valance. He's the toughest man in town.
Next one after me.
And it's like, so he was kind of like the one that protected the town and kept it from kind of going into chaos because of Liberty Valance. He kept Liberty Valance in check.
It's a weird kind of thing that I'm just now like putting together in my mind, but it's kind of like their story is kind of like the tale of the West, because the West is like this wide and with this wild and untamed territory. But as more and more people started moving to the West, it started becoming more civilized.
Right.
And like kind of requiring or facilitating the need for quote unquote more civilized people. I.e., Ransom Stoddard, the lawyer, the tenderfoot, as Tom Donovan would call him. And yeah, it's kind of like the it kind of tells the story of the death of like the rugged individualist, the cowboy, who can do it all on his own.
And that was the idea, because there's that constant like talk of like Liberty Valance and Tom Donovan said that it's like you need to it's like we take care of our own problems here, and it's like you need a gun, we take care of our own problems out here. And even like when Tom Donovan said that to Rance, he's like, "You sound just like him. You sound just like Liberty Valance," and it's kind of is true. Like they were two sides of the same coin. Um,
Yeah,
the good.
because he I don't like was Donovan a rancher?
That's the thing. Like I don't. I think he was he trained horses. That's my assumption. He was some sort of rancher in that sense.
Or like I think he did like maybe he lent himself out for work as a cattle driver maybe.
Yeah, but I think he was also the kind of the de facto leader of that town because
but it's interesting that Tom Donovan, like if he was someone who like who rented himself out to different uh, ranches to drive their cattle or whatnot. His advocacy for the territories to become a state would have effectively ended his career.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's I found that interesting too. Like it's his livelihood was dying. He probably was on the side of like voting for to against having statehood out there because what else was he gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of like why he wanted to settle down with Haley and like kind of kind of was trying to create a home for her.
Right, he was trying to set down roots. But I think with a Ransom Stoddard coming into his life, I think he recognized that as a sign of how like the days of like the cowboy and the rancher or the ranch hand was kind of coming to an end. Um, and it's like and I think he understood too that like without him in the picture, like who was gonna look out for all the little the other Ransom Stoddards or whatever. It's just like and it's like he can't be everywhere to fight all the battles for people. So actually, statehood made the most sense because then they'd be protected by the government.
Right.
I mean, it kind of kills me, but there are some benefits of government coming in, but just like at the same time, it's like screw you, government. Um,
yeah.
But I think Tom Donovan's perspective was maturing in that like even I need some stability or I need some I need to put down roots and I need to be able to if I'm not the one to provide the protection, then someone else has to provide it. And
you know what? Actually, here's I'm just thinking about this now that because there was always something that seemed to get in the way of like.
Do we lose Robert? Wait,
You there?
Say that again. Yeah, you kind of froze there
No,
for a second.
what I'm saying is like, and I'm kind of thinking about this in the moment with now that we're talking about it, where everyone kind of figured that him and Haley, Tom and Haley, were gonna end up together, but there was always something kind of got in the way. Like, and I don't know if it was like Tom's sense of pride or his sense of duty to the town and like everywhere he was going, and maybe by like with civilization coming to that town and to that territory that like now I don't have to be the protector of this town anymore. I don't have to protect this region. I can settle down and enjoy like life and I can settle down with Haley and that'll be that. And that that plan kind of was ruined when, like, spoiler alert, he ends up shooting Liberty Valance, and which essentially brings stability to the region because Liberty Valance was kind of the last of the which was keeping like the town from like having peace.
Mm-hmm.
And after he did that, it kind of pushed Haley into the arms of Ransom Stoddard.
Yeah. Yeah, from like they're very but but it's weird because like I mean, in a weird way, Tom did it to himself because like even from like their very first meeting, Haley and Ransom, it's like because you know Tom told her it's like, oh, you need to take care of him.
Yeah.
Like, even in the like even at the very beginning when the first time that they met, Haley was taking care of like Ransom after he got attacked by Liberty Valance. She dressed his wounds. She she looked after him as he was like as he was recuperating.
Right.
So right, and then like even like and even them two probably got closer because he started working at like the restaurant that Tom took him to because he knew the people who ran the restaurant because for help because I know because they were good people and so and that was the same restaurant that Haley was working at so in a weird way uh, he was kind of pushing her towards Ransom from the start.
Yeah. Now, was this your first time viewing the movie, Andy? Had you seen it before?
Yes, I have heard of this movie, but I never sat down to watch it in its entirety.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like when I first watched this, like I was like that twist that because we think that like Ransom Stoddard, it's like, oh shit, he actually shot Liberty Valance. Like, and because we'd seen this whole movie where like his aim sucked. Like he
Right.
was, and I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, oh, maybe like we've seen so many movies where like out of desperation, like the main character, kind of like is able to like succeed through like kind of like sheer determination.
Right. It's like yeah, it's like it's the lucky shot trope.
Yeah,
In a lot of like these westerns or even like cop or military films where it's like here like you get the novice and and he's demonstrated that he's a bad shot but when the chips are down and it really counts he's able to perform.
yeah, and I was like, oh, it's like, oh crap, he shot him, like damn, and it changed, it pretty much changes the town, it changes Ransom Stoddard's life,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it was revealed, it's like when Tom says like, you didn't shoot Liberty Valance, I did, and I was like, no, and then they kind of like do the other the
The
kind of
reverse
the
angle.
retrospective.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reversing. I was like, oh damn! Like it was a huge twist. Like this is I did not expect that, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, this is my first time viewing it, all the way through, and yeah, I was under the belief it was like, oh, like it's a lucky shot trope, but no, it's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina where Tom shows up at the nick of time and he's the one who takes a shot, but he allows Ransom to take the credit and kind of transfers the mantle of protector for the town over to him in that moment.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I was just. I don't. I'll be honest. I got out of my seat. I was like, no shit. Oh shit, that's crazy. Like I didn't expect that. Um, it just. I don't know. Like everything about this movie was just. It was so great. Um, I just. It has like a big giant twist. Like I said, the acting I think is just phenomenal in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like just the idea, having these two characters, Tom Donovan and Ransom Stoddard, it like you said, it's kind of the passing of the torch. It's the Wild West to civilization.
Right, because
And
after that happened, people were, his stock in the town like went up a lot, and he was eventually, what was it? Oh yeah, like the trajectory of his career was like, he was voted in governor like 3 times. Went to to Congress as a representative, and then also like did like 2 terms as a senator.
yeah,
He like now even has a good shot of joining the ticket as a vice presidential nominee.
right. So I mean, it's like so much that changed in his life because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think him, and I'm not sure if like, I'm sure Haley knew too. Like, he probably told her, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's they carried that with them the entire time. They never shared it.
Right.
And the movie ends with like this great line, because initially it starts off with him as an old man. Him and his wife are coming back into this town and seeing like, wow, everything's changed, for the better. And they are coming in, what it turns out, they're coming into the funeral for their friend Tom Donovan. And the newspaper is like, well, why are you in town? Like, you're because he's a big deal,
Yeah, he's a
obviously.
big shot. I mean, he's a senator.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I mean, that's news. We need, and we're the newspaper. We need to know why you're here. And it's like, oh, it's a personal matter. It's like, well, and they even kind of ambush him, where it's like, listen, uh, that's not good enough. Like, yeah, okay, great, it's a personal matter. You're here for a funeral, but there's more to the story. So, and we deserve to know the truth. And so he begins to tell the story, and it after obviously the flash, because the entire movie is a flashback.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And by the end of the story, the editor of the paper is like, okay, well, I'm not, and like he ends up like ripping up all his notes, and it's like, well, I'm not going to print that. And he says, the line is, when legend meets fact, go print the legend.
Right. Or when legend becomes fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone loves the story. No one, I mean, no one really cares if like everything is like 100% accurate, but people love the story.
Well, I think there's,
Which
there's a lot.
just to make a really quick contemporary comparison. I mean, I don't know how many of you out there have watched The Mandalorian, but and if you watch the season finale for the second season, uh, the antagonist for the series, a character by the name of Moff Gideon, he kind of says something similar. Because if you guys didn't know, he is in possession of this Mandalorian artifact known as the Dark Saber, and whoever wields it is basically the lead, like the king of the Mandalorians, or the ruler of the Mandalorians. And the main character, the Mandalorian, he beats Moff Gideon and takes the saber. And and like the original deal was to give it to another Mandalorian who sought after it, but he can't just give it to her. And Moff Gideon says like, "Oh, the saber means nothing without the story."
Right. Well, and that's like actually thinking about that line and that idea. There's so many things in our culture and like stuff like where that's become true. Like there's a great the Simpsons reference coming up, but like in the episode Lisa the Iconoclast, in the story of Jebediah Springfield, where she learns that Jebediah Springfield's actually a pirate that like was escaping imprisonment. and like found out the truth. Like pretty much his whole story was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh yeah, it's like the great land cow. I didn't wrestle it. I merely shot it.
yeah, exactly. It's like, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, but the legend meant something to the people, and like yeah, maybe telling the truth like who would that help at
Mm-hmm.
that point? It's like so uh it's like the legend sometimes is more than the truth in a lot of ways. And I think that's gonna be true in our next review with Tombstone. Um, where it's but the I thought that honestly that was a really great line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's a lot of like legends out there that we believe in that yeah maybe that's not the truth, but I think it's I think it's important. The legend isn't still important though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, not to give The Last Jedi any credit, but in this one aspect, I think Ryan Johnson did plant a very interesting question, or have a perspective, and that is, legend. Because
Yeah,
like the whole thing, like the whole thing about Luke Skywalker, becoming like this legend, and like he became larger than life. And so, like, it's like there's no way he could fail, but then he failed his like student, failed his nephew or whatever, which I don't consider canon. But it's an interesting take where it's like the legend becoming so grand that it crushes the man.
yeah. You've heard it here. The Last Jedi is Andy's favorite movie now.
Shut the fuck up! All right, I didn't. Okay, that is not what I said. Do not take that out of context. Don't you ever take that out of context.
uh, no, I wouldn't do
All
that
right,
too. But
I will shut this stream down.
yeah. No, but that's actually like that. I didn't think about it from like the Last Jedi perspective, but yeah, that's kind of important. That's kind of a important one, maybe great aspect of that. Where yeah, like the legend did crush the person, and maybe there was a lot of there was a lot that was kind of crushing rants about that too, because he kind of lived this lie his entire the majority of his life, and it for the better, but I think
Right.
he
Well, I
felt
think
incredibly
his is the only time like where the legend didn't crush him, because I think he then devoted himself to service and like the service of others, and so he kind of took the and again another weird kind of connection to contemporary stuff like with the Dark Knight, Batman taking on the reputation of a murderer, the guy who killed Harvey Dent.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah, that's another movie that does that too, with like the so long, just to because Harvey Dent, um, being like the guy that's like he's the White Knight, he's the guy that they needed, that Gotham needed,
Yeah.
and Batman took on the mantle of like being his murderer,
Mm-hmm.
and
Or at least, yeah, like, and he took the responsibility of all the people that Harvey killed, uh, make just so uh, to have it so that the Joker doesn't win.
yeah,
Because despite this one lapse in Harvey having basically a psychotic break, he was doing good. And he couldn't allow all that good to be torn down. And so
God, that movie's so good.
yeah, and so and so Batman takes on the responsibility like of all the people that Harvey killed, and also killing Harvey himself.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that like Liberty, Ransom, I think it might be one of the cases where it doesn't destroy him. The legend doesn't destroy him, and that
Yeah.
he's able to harness that for good, uh, because he realizes what was at stake, and what the reputation and life of a good man was given to him so that he might do good with it.
Yeah, it's just man, this movie is just so freaking good. Um, I'm trying to think if there was like another like scene that I really enjoyed, but I just have to say like his performance was so good, and I kind of just the sheer like kind of evil that was in him. It's like it's almost like he was like toying with. I don't know why. Like yeah, I don't think he's had a lot of people stand up to him, other than like probably Tom. Who he knows that he like Tom is his better, and so
Right.
he kind of gives Tom a kind of like a wide berth in a lot of
Mhm.
ways.
Yeah, no,
But
he gives him a pass. He gives him a pass because he realizes they're the same. It's just Tom.
yeah,
Tom hasn't succumbed to the more darker parts of his nature.
but to have a citizen like like kind of stand up to him and like fight him,
Hmm.
that pissed him off.
Hmm.
And
So, yeah, how
he
dare you, peasant, stand up to me?
yeah, and he almost toyed with he kept toying with Rance the entire
Hmm.
movie, and just kept like it's kind of like he kept poking him and poking him and poking him, and it came to the point where it's like even where he almost got Rance to like kind of succumb to the idea of like we sell our own fights here with guns.
Hmm.
It's kind of it's a wild west.
Hmm.
And because Rance is like, no, I'm not gonna use a gun. I don't want a gun.
Hmm.
I'm gonna it's like the law is like his gun. That's what he used to protect himself.
Hmm.
And it got to the point where he realizes like this guy needs to go. And especially after like Mr. Peabody got his ass like beat half to death by
Hmm.
Liberty Valance and his gang,
Hmm.
which another famous actor in that gang was Lee Van Cleef. He's in the the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood.
Hmm.
Um, he's been in a bunch of westerns. Like the guy
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
very
it's like
famous.
his like Lee Van Cleef is like pretty synonymous with westerns.
Oh, he's fantastic. I love Lee Van Cleef. But he after like he saw that like his Mr. Peabody, who was his friend, um one he's like he had enough.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
yeah, you know the when and it's like the bully the guy that's being bullied is like, what, fuck this, we're gonna I'm gonna shoot this man. And he confronts him, and you know uh Liberty Valance just toys with him. It's like he's so outmatched. Rance is
Hmm.
so outmatched in that fight. It's like, and the when it came to that point where it's like, oh, here, Rance is gonna die here, and it's like, all right, dude, next one's going right between your eyes. And then kind of Rance is like holding his one arm that's been like shot, and he gets that shot off, and it's like, and then like you see like it the bullet hits Liberty Valance right in the chest, and he keels over, and it's like, holy crap, he died. He shot him, he got him.
Hmm.
And then it's just yeah, but like I said, it's the entire movie. Liberty Valance is a giant asshole. Is
Yeah.
he's a bully. He's not only is he bullying the town, but he really goes after Rance.
Hmm.
And he gets his comeuppance, which it's a very satisfying death, by the
Yeah.
way, and it
Absolutely.
really like makes the town a better place. and really sets it up for them to get statehood. I
Mm.
think that was the last gasp. Was Liberty Valance was kind of like the one that was holding back.
Right, because what is it? Like yeah, because the big ranchers, they were using Liberty Valance as like their muscle to enforce their will, like to stifle any sort of opposition against them, to keep the territory as a wilderness, so that that they could be free of like federal or state oversight.
Right, because that causes problems
Right.
for
And
them.
so yeah, yeah, because more taxes and whatever and regulations and yada yada yada, all the things that we rail against,
Yeah,
most of the time.
but
But in this hypothetical scenario, yeah, it's kind of like the saving grace for these people. But yeah, without their number one enforcer, I think they're the ranchers and like that entire like I guess you could call lobby group is done for.
yeah, but I don't know. Is there any other like scenes or characters or anything that you had from the movie that you want to talk about?
Mm, no, that's about it. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's guys, go watch this movie. It's so good. Even if you don't like westerns, I think this is still a great story. Yeah, sure, it's set in like the Wild West, but it's there's a lot of suspense. Obviously we gave it away, so there's kind of like a big twist at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But the acting is great. The story is great. This is by far so far my favorite western.
Well, all right. All right, let's give our rating, and we'll wrap this one up.
Well, this is 5 stars for me, like all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's well cast, it's well acted. The story is just to me is just amazing. I kind of like the message too. There's really a lot happening in the story, um, and I'm just this is one that you have to go see. And honestly, this is a movie I think I can come to again and again and again, and I still find it enjoyable.
All right. I'm gonna give this a 4. Um,
I think we're gonna have a lot of disagreements on our reviews tonight.
I mean that's fine. Like my only one, like my only one criticism of this movie is some of the performance are a little overwrought. Um, One example that sticks out to me is that scene in the restaurant. When Ransom is, helping out Hallie and and waiting tables, and what is it? Liberty Valance like trips him up, and then him and Tom Donovan are on that kind of standoff, and then he kind of and then he kind of and Ransom just like flings out, like he's like, oh, it's like, oh God, gosh darn, I'll pick it up myself, and some of
See,
the
I disagree. I really like that scene because
I mean, I get like
it's like,
I know he's kind of showing off his own frustration, and like, and he's venting out like his own like frustrations, where like he should be able to fight his own battles, but like Tom has to kind of be there, but it's like he's still gonna I totally understand like what the point of that scene is. It's just some of the performance are just a little overwrought for
oh,
my
see,
taste. For
yeah,
my
I didn't
taste,
think that at all. I don't think that was overwrought at all. I think that was I was riveted by that scene. I thought that was a very well acted scene, where like this guy has been bullying, this man has been bullying Rance, from the moment he even before he stepped into town, and it's just like he's the specter of Liberty Valance has been like kind of hanging over him, and I think he kind of resents the fact that Tom kind of saved him, and that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he
Again, like I completely understand it. And maybe yeah, it's a reasonable response. It's what you might expect from someone who's been who's been made the punching bag and everything, but I don't know. Maybe they ought to went. Maybe they should have went for a little you know less wrought. In my opinion, it's just my opinion, overwrought reaction. But
all right, all right. I just wanted to make my case. Why I think that's honestly that's one of the I think that's one of the
yeah, and
better.
again, I appreciate that scene. I totally get what that scene is about. I completely understand like the energy, but yeah,
I think the reason is because like honestly, because I don't think Rance really liked Tom or definitely didn't like Liberty Valance, but like I
hmm
don't think he really liked Tom at that time either because Tom was kind of in a way was kind of a bully to him too, where it's like he saw Tom as essentially another version of Liberty Valance, just like a more
or like less asshole version of Liberty Valance.
exact.
Even though he kind of had like the same again, they um, I'm pretty sure Tom saw a little bit of Liberty in him, and maybe Liberty saw a little bit of Tom in him, and they just didn't like that about each other.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think that's like I said,
So
I
yes,
disagree.
yeah,
I think
same
that's one of
energy, but
the movie.
that's just like one example of like what I feel is like little, at least in the performance wise, a little overwrought.
It's like it's all right. You can be wrong, Andy. It's fine. It
What are
happens
you
every
talking
once
about?
in
I'm
a while.
never wrong. You know this. You know this. We've known each other long enough to where you know that I'm never wrong.
All right, all right. I'll give you. You got 4 stars on this one. It's fine. I just wanted to make my argument. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's just, you know this, Robert. I'm never wrong. But especially not on this show.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I was thinking like because normally it's weird. We have a lot of the same thoughts. Like
Yeah,
I think this might be the one night like as far as like movie reviews go where I think we're gonna be very different.
perhaps.
But yeah, no, 5 stars for me all the way on this
All
one.
right, all right. That's perfectly fine by me.
It's
All
not in
right,
my
that.
top 10, but it's definitely in my top 20.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our review for The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Robert gives us a 5. I give it a 4. Still, recommend this movie. It's a great film.
It's free on Amazon right now.
Free on, there you go, free on Amazon. So take advantage while you still can. Um, before we get into the next review, I want to take a minute and pimp out a show that I started watching at the recommendation of a friend. Recommendation of a mutual friend, and that is Alice in Borderland.
What is this?
Alice in Borderland is based off like this Japanese graphic novel.
Okay.
It's think of it as what is it? Battle Royale mixed with Saw mixed with um, what else is there? Like Battle Royale mixed with Saw mixed with Hunger Games.
Okay, I'm intrigued already. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, no, it's like our mutual friend, was recommending it for the longest time, and then I found some time today to check it out, and man, after the first episode, I was like hooked.
Okay. All right, I'll
Yeah,
check it out.
it's really good. Yeah, and one of the characters, man, she's smart.
She's smart. All right,
Yeah,
got it.
she's very smart. Um,
What
uh,
what's it called again?
Alice in Borderland.
Alice in Borderland. Okay, let
Yeah.
me
Oh,
let's see.
what is it? Have you ever heard of this? anime called Gantz.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that too. That mixed. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, battle royale mixed with Saw, mixed with Gantz, mixed with kind of Hunger Games.
Okay, I
But I
got
mean,
it.
but battle royale is kind of like Hunger Games, so
I got
Hunger Games might be redundant.
Yeah,
Actually, it
I got
is. So yeah,
my
it's
list.
battle royale mixed with Saw mixed with Gantz.
Awesome. Okay, I'm definitely intrigued now. Yeah, because Gantz is a really good anime. But yeah, I got it written down on my list. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's right. It's on that. And make sure you watch it in the original Japanese, because I thought
Yeah.
because the when I initially found it, it was dubbed, and I was like, ugh,
Ugh.
you know.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, it's so yeah. I've gotten to that point. Like maybe the only like Japanese property that I can stand it being dubbed is Dragon Ball Z.
I will admit that like that one's not bad. The other one that's actually not too bad dubbed is Cowboy Bebop. I don't know if you ever seen that. That's to be honest,
I
that's
haven't
kind of like
watched that in years.
that's a western.
Yeah, it's a Western in space. It's Firefly. It's
yeah, which I fucking love Firefly, dude. That we should probably review Serenity.
Oh, I love Serenity. Serenity is awesome.
Yeah.
Serenity does a beautiful job of tying up like, all the loose, well, mostly the river stuff.
Yeah, I think that might be something we should do. We should like, I mean, there's only a few episodes of Firefly, and then watch Serenity and like talk about it. I think we should do that at some point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
Speaking of westerns, it's like
yeah, or we could do space westerns.
Yeah. Oh, there we go, dude. There's so many.
I know there's so many space westerns. But yeah, Alice in Borderland. It got me after like, because I was told it was a very compelling story, and by our mutual friend, and and so I was like, okay, I'll like because there since like Mandalorian finished up, and it's again not a long series, not a long season. It's 8 episodes. But yeah, oh man, is it done really well?
Okay. Yeah. I think I'd seen it like come across my timeline on Netflix, and I skipped past it. So, I guess I'll give it a look now and see what I think.
Oh yeah, no, you'll enjoy it. If I enjoyed it, then you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess I've been more on the movie train recently, so I haven't been like watching as many as much episodic stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'll get there. Like this I've kind of dedicated this month to being just watching westerns. I've watched. I mean, obviously the stuff that we're watching for the reviews, but I've been watching like a bunch of others too, and it's like, man, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of shitty ones, but there's a lot of good ones too.
Yeah, no, it's.
My wife is like, westerns are stupid.
Tell her that's why my mom hates her.
I was like, I thought I could get her to watch like the remake of True Grit because it has Matt Damon, she loves. It had another actor from another movie series we were watching, The Maze Runner. He was in it, and it's like, oh, come on, like it's great. Oh, and it had the girl, which we'll talk about this more next week. But the girl, Maddie Ross, in the remake, she is in the movie Bumblebee, which is what Transformers should have been.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Which is a great movie. And I was like, oh, that's right. I didn't realize that was her. She was a much younger person then. And I was like, look, it's got all these great characters in it, all these great actors in it. And like at the last thing, she's like, no, I don't like westerns. It's like, oh, come on.
Maybe show her the remake of Magnificent Seven.
She might like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty action. It's got Chris Pratt. She loves Chris Pratt.
There you go.
She might like that movie.
Mhm.
Maybe we can. If you come over, maybe we'll rewatch the remake of that.
Okay. We'll see. I don't know. I need a fucking break from your wife, dude.
I get it. I understand.
All right. You chose her. All right. I did not.
I understand.
I laugh because it keeps me from crying.
Yeah, I'll just say, Andy, you're a trooper.
I am. I don't get enough credit. I literally
I'm
don't.
sorry that my wife loves you so much.
I know. God damn. I wish she wouldn't. I wish she could be like all of my other friends' wives and just like barely tolerate me.
Like she literally I says like Andy can come over anytime he wants, anytime. Like I want him. Like it's like it's like he has his own life too, honey. Like I mean, I've had like you've come over more in like the last like 6 months, and like I think you have like in our entire relationship.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I mean,
accurate.
don't get me wrong. I'm glad that like you come over a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I know it's like it's tough on you.
Yeah. Especially when I have to deal with your wife.
I'll have you come over when she's not here. How about that?
I know, but I got but because we have such a good time that like I can't I can't pull myself away from the fun, and so I end up being there when she returns, and then I've like somehow like spent like the next like 8 hours with her too after an entire day of hanging out with you. It's like, God damn it, when I'm tired.
Yeah. Maybe next time I'll come over to your place.
Maybe, yeah, shoot. I don't know, why'd I have to be so
Oh,
damn
actually,
lovable?
You know what though?
Hmm.
She might be taking like I think not this week, but I think next week she may be gone. She might end up staying over with someone for a day or two.
Hmm.
So I'll have you come over.
Only if you promise me that she'll be gone.
Okay, I'll keep you apprised.
Oh,
I might end up like if that happens, I might end up taking a sick day, so just so we can like
nice.
spend time together.
I know. Spend some quality alone time. Oh man.
Well, should we jump into our review of Tombstone?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's get into the second review of the night, which is Tombstone, starring Russell Crowe, Val Kilmer, Sam
Kurt Russell.
Elliott, uh, Bill Paxton.
Kurt Russell.
Did I say Kurt Russell?
No,
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure I said Kurt Russell. Anyways. No. I'll I'll check. I'll see the playback.
Either that, or I'm just like I'm hearing things.
Maybe. How do I not name the star of the movie like as the very first character?
Well,
Yeah, Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer,
Sam
Sam
Elliott, Bill
Elliott,
Paxton.
Bill Paxton. Yeah, of course I did. Of course I said Kurt Russell.
Charlton Heston makes an appearance. Billy Bob Thornton does.
Very star-studded. Michael Rooker, Stephen Lang, Booth Powers, Michael Behan, Laura Delaney, Jason Priestley.
Yeah, that's right. Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
This is this movie like it is star-studded.
Mm-hmm. You bet your ass it is.
It, why don't you give the synopsis of the movie?
All right, here we go. Wyatt Earp and his brothers Morgan and Virgil have left their gunslinger ways behind them to settle down and start a business in the town of Tombstone, Arizona. While they aren't looking to find trouble, trouble soon finds them when they become targets of the ruthless cowboy gang. Now, together with Wyatt's best friend, Doc Holliday, the brothers pick up their guns once more to restore order to a lawless land.
Well, let me just say this right off the bat. This is the best version of this story.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Wyatt Earp story.
Yeah, this because it is pretty much based on real events.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, so this actually might be like a good idea for kind of a take on the who wore it better idea,
Mm-hmm.
where like the movies that like where there's two movies that come out in the same year, but they're kind of the same movie. Like one obviously is like ends up being a hit, and one
Yeah. It's the Armageddon versus Deep Impact, Ants versus A Bug's Life, yada yada yada.
Yeah, because well, let me tell you, there was another movie that came out the same year, that is the same fucking movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the the longer, ponderous version of.
Yeah, it's an hour longer than Tombstone.
It's called Wyatt Earp, and it sucks ass. Oh God, it's so bad.
I told Robert that it was a slog.
God
damn. In my text, like I said, I described my one attempt to try and watch it. It's like, I started watching it, got bored. Went to go make a sandwich. Came back, watched a little, got bored again. Took a nap, came back, watched the end. I was like, God damn, this sucks.
How can a movie with Gene Hackman, Kevin Costner, Dennis Quaid, Tom Sizemore, how can this movie suck? And it sucks dick. Oh, it's so bad. It's
it sucks pretty hard.
God damn, it sucks.
But anyways, this movie, like, Tombstone, Tombstone definitely does not suck.
Yeah, no. So I'll say, like, I'm gonna give like Tombstone an extra half star just because it's not fucking white. Because it doesn't start at like the beginning of his fucking birth, right. Wyatt Earp's birth. It just gets into the point, the parts of his story that we fucking care about. The shootout at the OK Corral, and the idea of like the cowboys, and like kind of like the first point of the idea of organized crime. Mm-hmm. The narrator is he's a famous narrator that did a lot of like radio back in the day, like
something Mitchum.
Yeah,
Robert Mitchum.
Yeah, he's also the guy that did the it's beef. So what's for dinner? It's the same guy.
Oh, really?
That was Robert Mitchum. Yeah, I think so. I believe so. And it's just, thank God that Tombstone is not fucking Wyatt Earp, because it sucked. Wow, I'm so mad that I wasted 3 hours and 11 minutes watching that fucking shit show of a movie.
Yeah, dude, I told you it was gonna be a slog.
God. And okay, if you want to watch an alternate version of Tombstone that's at least watchable, watch the shootout at the OK Corral with starring Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. Mm-hmm. That one's pretty good. And it mainly focus that movie kind of is more on Doc Holliday, which is fine. And you get some of the Wyatt Earp story. Whatchamacallit, DeForest Kelly, plays in there as like one of the Earps. It's also another Dennis Hopper movie. Dennis Hopper's in it. Mm-hmm. Trying to think of who else was kind of big in that. But that's That's a solid movie, and it actually and it culminates in the OK Corral, whereas in both Tombstone and Wyatt Earp, the OK Corral is kind of like it's a catalyst to something bigger that ends up happening. But God, for the love of God, don't waste your time. Do not watch Wyatt Earp. Save yourselves. Don't do it. Don't do what I did. Don't waste 3 hours of your life watching Wyatt Earp. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at myself for watching that goddamn movie. Andy, you warned me. Why didn't I?
I know. Again, another example of why I'm always right.
Anyways, let's talk about Tombstone, a good movie.
Yeah, Tombstone. Oh man, Tombstone. Yeah, Tombstone is one of my favorite westerns, like top 5 for sure. I like Robert was saying. I think this is a phenomenal casting job because everyone I think was cast perfectly in their roles. I mean, Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, and even what is it?
You had
Michael
Bill Paxton as Morgan Earp. You had Sam
Elliott as his older brother Virgil. Yeah, and it's down the line, like no one, like crazy enough, like Stephen Lang, like he played like this bumbling, like coward idiot, but it's like because especially a lot of people might be more familiar like with Stephen Lang from like the Avatar movie or like or at least more modern audiences. They might remember as like the asshole colonel in Avatar or the blind colonel from Don't Breathe.
That's right. Yeah, and I almost didn't recognize him, to be honest.
Right. I mean, because he's like, he was because he was kind of younger than too. Because you kind of because Stephen Lang is a good-looking dude, and he kind of like, especially now, like he's kind of like a silver fox. But yeah, he was so young back then, or it looked so young. But like his performance is really good too. Like I believed him to be like the cowardly Ike Clanton.
Yeah, it's like, oh, no, don't shoot me. It's like,
I don't got no gun.
Yeah, it's just and what I love about this movie is like it's very succinct. Like it gets right. It's right to the action.
The economy of words and action.
Right.
It's like the old lines, like don't use 5 words when 4 words will do.
Exactly. Oh. Yeah, like I said, I'm good. I'm giving this. I'm gonna give Tombstone another half star just because it is not. God. Oh.
It's not Wyatt Earp. Okay. I get it.
It just. I'm still so mad at myself because I finished like it took me like 2.5 days to finish Wyatt Earp. That's like it's just so bad.
Yes. And another example of me being right.
But no, the with Tombstone, I really liked. Like I said, all the acting performances were great. One of the great ones, a couple of the scenes I really liked were when there's kind of like the initial clash between like the Clantons and like kind of the cowboys and like Wyatt Earp and everybody, and Doc Holliday comes out. Val Kilmer walks out and like he looks like fucking shit. Like the makeup job that they did on him, he looked terrible.
Right. Well, like the character of Doc Holliday had tuberculosis, so he should look like shit.
Well, here, like they didn't really like talk about like necessarily. They didn't like because in the other 2 movies, both the Wyatt Earp and Shooter at the OK Corral, he already knew that he was dying of tuberculosis.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I think he like in Tombstone, it was kind of like this, discovered later on that he had tuberculosis and like.
Well, I mean, no. He knew he had tuberculosis. It's just like, but he still like he still did whatever he wanted. He still went and drank and smoked and stayed up late at night and had you know uh, lots and lots of premarital sex.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yes he
but it
did.
wasn't but it wasn't until like his most recent like episode of him drinking and smoking and gambling and fornicating that the doctor came in. It's like, yeah, you lost 60% of your lung capacity. It's like you could go tomorrow, you could go in like 2 months.
Yeah. Well, anyways, there's a scene where like kind of like the initial clash between all of these characters,
Mm-hmm.
and Doc Holliday walks out and like points the gun. And is like, man, you're drunk. Like you can't. Like you're probably seeing two of me. That's why I have two guns. It's like so I can shoot both of you.
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah. With like one
I
for
was
the
like,
each of you.
right, I was like, yes.
Yeah, no, this is the reason why I love this movie is like this movie is so quotable. Like if you ever had like a stare down with someone ever called made out like a general a call for a challenge and you say like I'm your Huckleberry. It's like
right.
yeah, or like
And the
or like
gunplay
yeah, the
is
gunplay is awesome too. But just like yeah, and just like the kind of bravado that that these actors were able to put forward. Um, like when Wyatt Earp makes that initial confrontation at the saloon at one of the dealers, who like he just like kept smacking the shit out of him, and then he kept the guy who was like saying, oh, it's like I'm don't make me angry, I'll do it, like gesturing to his gun, and he just like it's like well, come on then, throw down, skin that smoke show, it's like just
yeah.
like calling his
And
bluff. It's just like, oh my god, this is so good.
yeah, it like that part was awesome. And then there's like the point after like the Clantons kind of get their revenge on the Earps, and it's like I'm coming for you, like
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's like I'm coming for you.
everybody-
Yeah. hmm
I was like, yes, awesome.
Right. Yeah, like the whole
I was
like it's like you what is it? It's like no, I'm coming. It's like I'm bringing the thunder.
oh yeah, I was like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah. Right.
I was ready to throw down with like Wyatt Earp, like let's do it.
Yeah. So yeah, again, it's just so good. It's again like how you say it's a succinct story because it picks up after his law enforcement days, and it's just like him trying to settle down and build a life for himself, and it's just like he doesn't like every opportunity that people come to him like with this to become to take up the shield again, basically take up the badge,
Right.
be a law enforcement. It's like nope, I'm out of it, but it's just like every but it's just like it's one of those weird like horses chicken or egg things where it's like is it because of his reputation that it's just like he's forced into doing this, or is it just because some internal sense of like honor where like he just has to uh, he just has to play the role.
Yeah, it's one of those things like because honestly, like if I want to like watch about like Wyatt Earp like his entire life, I'll watch a documentary.
Right.
Like I don't give if I'm watching a movie, I don't give two fucks about like when he was a kid and like his buffalo skinning days.
Mm-hmm.
Other horseshit that like doesn't matter. Like give me the story everyone knows, the shootout at the OK Corral.
Mm-hmm.
And all that.
Yeah, which many people may not know was just them trying to go disarm some people.
Yeah, and it's like that's all that we fucking care about. Like, how did you meet Doc Holliday and like their relationship and like just talk about that. No one gives a fuck about.
But
like,
even in this movie, Tombstone, like we don't even know like the backstory of Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. But it's like we're just thrown into their relationship and it's already believable.
is great. Like I said, it's the we don't need all that backstory. Like it's just like, okay, great, they're friends, awesome. Like
Right, yeah,
they both have.
simple interaction with them, like in front of the street, when he calls out like that card dealer that wanted to take revenge on Wyatt for making him look like a pussy,
Yeah,
and it's just like, and then like they immediately start bantering, and it's like it's believable. It's like yeah, they're old friends.
exactly.
Like no setup, no flashback to when like when was the first time that Wyatt met Doc Holliday. None of that.
Right.
It was just like the quick banter of them, like the familiarity of their conversation was enough. It's like okay, yeah, they're friends.
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
But
The other thing that I thought was so this is after watching all three of these movies, because like a lot of like one of the main bad guys was Johnny Ringo,
mhm.
which was part of this group too. And in all three of the movies that I watched, he Johnny Ringo plays kind of a different part in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
The I felt like this honestly, like I felt like Tombstone probably should have ended with the death of Johnny Ringo. I thought he should have been kind of like the last guy
Yeah, the
that
final
was
boss.
killed, the final boss, where like
Well,
they
they
kind of,
did technically.
but they didn't though. There was still a lot of movie left.
Yeah, I know they tacked on the epilogue of him saying his goodbye to Doc Holliday, and then him going getting Josephine.
No.
But
See that's fine. What I didn't like, but they ended up fighting like more people after they killed Johnny Ringo.
right, but it was a montage though at least.
I like I said, I understand that, but like I felt like Johnny Ringo, at least
Mhm.
in this movie, Tombstone, that should have been the last guy,
Mhm.
and because there was this whole like kind of dramatic setup to get to him,
Mhm.
and like I felt like that should have been the last guy, and then cut to the epilogue of like some time later where Wyatt Earp is at Doc's bedside.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. I see what you're getting at. Yeah.
But like, but I will say that the fight scene between the with Johnny Ringo, Tombstone did it the best out of all the movies. I mean, well, anything that Wyatt Earp did sucked ass. But even like with the shootout at the OK Corral, like I felt like this Tombstone did it the best.
Damn, Wyatt Earp really fucking traumatized you, didn't it?
God, and even like even Johnny Ringo's death scene sucked ass too. It's like, oh my god, it's so bad. It's it's so bad.
Yeah,
Oh
you're like, yeah, you're the chick that can't stop talking about her ex.
God, it just I'm so mad.
That's what you are right now. You're the chick who can't stop talking about her ex to her new boyfriend. Say, oh my god, my ex was so awful. It's like,
What I'm saying, folks, is don't watch Wyatt Earp. Am I right? Anyways, so the way they kind of did like kind of like a double fake, on the fight scene against Johnny Ringo in Tombstone, where you're expecting it to be Wyatt Earp, and Doc Holliday, he is kind of like he's bedridden, like he's kind of
yeah,
he's
his tuberculosis is like catching up with him, and he's like coughing up blood, and you know he's like really weak. Yeah, he's essentially bedridden.
now was the people that he was the cabin that he was resting at, that was that the Mastersons.
The what?
So I don't remember the character names of like the guys that like they ended up like leaving Doc Holliday at.
Oh,
Charlton Heston
yeah,
is
that's Henry Hooker was his name.
okay. That's who it was. Okay.
Yeah, McMasterson was the cowboy that defected and like helps and helps Wyatt Earp and then gets himself killed.
Oh, that's right. Because
The Michael Rooker character is McMasters.
That's right. Okay, thank you. I got a little bit like mixed up, and it's probably I got mixed up because I decided to watch a 3.5 hour piece of shit Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay, again, you're talking about your ex.
But no, he ends up you know uh you know getting out of it and confronts Doc Holliday ends up confronting Johnny Ringo, and he does this and Val Kilmer was amazing in this movie. Like his gunplay was amazing, and he ends up blasting Johnny Ringo in the head in this this very tense standoff, and it's like it was so satisfying. Like him just blasting him in the head. I was like, yes, all right, he's
right because I think it was a good juxtaposition to their first kind of encounter. And Johnny Ringo does all those fancy tricks,
yeah.
and then all Doc had to do is just like bam, and then like he already had holstered it before Johnny Ringo got a shot off.
Yeah, it was so satisfying to see, and
I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of I don't know if have you seen Rebels, Star Wars Rebels?
no, I haven't seen Rebels yet.
Okay.
I'm making my way there, but you don't worry. Tell the story. I'll. It's not gonna.
Well, kind of spoilery.
Don't worry about that. I'm still gonna watch it.
Okay. There's this in one of the towards the end of the series, there's a rematch basically between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
And they both met. It's interesting. Like kind of like the George Lucas concept of poetry, or kind of mirroring. But they both met each other when they were both like learners. Basically Maul when he was the apprentice for Sidious, and Obi-Wan Kenobi when he was still the Padawan for Qui-Gon Jinn. But then now they meet up. This as old men. The Alan Tudyk Obi-Wan. Not, I mean the Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they have this final lightsaber duel, but it's over. But it's over in 3 moves.
Because Obi-Wan kind of like learns.
Yeah, exactly. Like he is like the master. Like he was like the master, and kind of like I'm thinking about it now, just like that scene with Ringo and Doc Holliday. It's kind of like that, where it's like, Ringo does like all these fancy like flashy things to like demonstrate like how fast he is, but Doc Holliday, all he does like slick boom and like back in the holster before before Johnny Ringo gets a shot off.
Yeah. Like I said,
like,
I kind of wish I like I said, I still wish that was the last scene or like the last guy because there's a whole another like 10 minutes of montage of them like taking down like the rest of the gang, and that now granted in reality that's probably like Johnny Ringo probably wasn't like the last guy of this cowboy group. So I guess that makes sense in if we're telling it like a semi-accurate tale, but cinematically, I wish that Johnny Ringo should have been the last guy. Cut to like the epilogue of
yeah. Wyatt Earp visiting him, saying his goodbyes, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But Yeah, but like
Yeah,
Tombstone is great because like even like the side characters are like perfectly cast because you have what's his face Terry O'Quinn who plays like the mayor.
yeah.
You know,
Who is most people probably know him from Lost.
yeah, John Locke. He plays
Yeah,
Terry O'Quinn who played John Locke in
oh,
Lost.
he's great. I
Yeah,
really like him as an
you
actor.
know. Yeah, and then Billy Zane as like the actor or whatever. Um,
Was he gay in this movie?
Maybe question mark because Jason Priest's character was for sure gay, like the character.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, okay, I wasn't like just that wasn't just something that came into my head. Okay.
No, 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 no. Yeah, but like, yeah, like even the background or supporting characters, they're great. Oh yeah, Thomas Hayden Church was one of was Ike Clanton's like cousin or something.
Oh shit, that's right. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
This really was a very star-studded cast. Like like a lot of big name actors, even like a lot of like silver screen guys, and a lot of character actors. But like it's
yeah.
like they're all very recognizable.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Um, I'm trying to think of like another like. I don't know. Like, do you think that was that Kurt Russell's real mustache?
That's a very good question because
It
yeah,
looks
it
real.
looks real. It looks like a mustache that he can grow.
Yeah, but like, because Joyce was watching parts of it too,
Hmm.
and she's like, "That looks a little fake," but like, I can't quite tell.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well,
we
yeah,
already
I mean,
know
because
Sam
like,
Elliott.
yeah, we all know Sam Elliott's mustache. Sam Elliott's
No,
mustache is more famous than
that's
him.
definitely him. Yeah, that's honestly that's how I got her to watch at least like 10 minutes of the movie because she there's a show on Netflix called The Ranch, which Sam Elliott is
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
He
like I
plays
at
the
least got her
dad.
to
Yeah,
watch it a little. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, Sam Elliott's mustache is more famous than Sam Elliott. So yeah, for sure that's his own mustache. But yeah, I don't know. Now you gave me kind of curious.
I want to like see if that was really his mustache. I would believe it if it was,
Hmm.
but because it looks real.
Okay. Well, there's some. Okay, I'm looking at some pictures, and it looks like he can grow like full like beard and stuff.
Well, because you look at like another movie like that he's another western that he's in, Bone Tomahawk, and it's kind of he has like a little bit of a similar. I mean, he has a little bit more of like a beard with it,
Hmm.
but it does
Right.
look like he can grow.
Yeah, no, there's a shot of him, kind of older, with a stash. Of course, he had a full beard and stash for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Uh,
True.
there's a younger I think when he did the It,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
has a mustache that seemed to be his own. Not as thick and bristly as the one in Tombstone, but I could believe that was his actual mustache.
I'm gonna go with it's real. I think it's real.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with too. I'm gonna say that's real too.
Yeah, I'm going real. Just because like in other westerns that he's been in, because he's also like he's in Hateful Eight too, isn't he?
What was that? Yeah, yeah, that he's in Hateful Eight as well.
That's another movie. I'm gonna have to revisit that movie to be honest.
Hmm. I
But
know.
yeah, like
I still have to see it.
you haven't seen it? Okay,
I
well
still haven't seen it.
maybe we'll watch that and Bone Tomahawk together.
Okay.
some Kurt Russell westerns.
Okay, yeah, I see. I'm seeing what you're talking about. That maybe I don't know. That looks kind of embellished, but I can still see him like actually growing that out himself. Well, let me share the screen with you just so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of like, it looks like, it could be fake, but I, part of me part of me believes that he can actually grow that himself.
I'm gonna go with it. It's I think it's real.
Okay. All right. Consensus says it's real.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with real.
All right. Yeah, me too. But anyways, back to the review.
But
Any other scenes or whatnot you want to highlight, but not compare it to Wyatt Earp because we know you fucking hate that movie because you're a fucking, you're a fucking chick who can't stop talking about their ex.
No, I just I really liked the like I said, I think the acting is great.
Mm-hmm.
I was really blown away by the gunplay. Just all like the tricks and
Right? Yeah,
stuff.
actually, yeah. Even them like riding on horseback and like firing guns. I'm sure. I know they're they're fake guns and they're just blanks, but it's believable. Like when they like toss like the guns to each other and they
Yeah, like it just I was my belief was my disbelief was put aside. It's just
thoroughly suspended. Thoroughly
yeah,
suspended.
I felt it felt real. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
And I see like this is like one of those. It's kind of westerns seem to kind of like come and go.
Right. In
Obviously, like
flavor, yeah.
and this is like this was kind of like a new generation of westerns. Because it's like '93, I believe.
Yeah, 93.
Same. I think White Earp came out in the same year too.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a new era of westerns, and this is definitely like one of the better ones of that era, of the '90s. And I'll say like I'm a
Oh, Wyatt
fan.
Earp came out in 94.
Okay, so but it was
Yeah, within
so
the same time period.
yeah. So what I did read was like that it was filmed at the same. They were being filmed at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually they were not filmed very far away from each other either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
That makes sense.
Kevin Costner was from what I understand, Kevin Costner was originally supposed to play Wyatt Earp in Tombstone, but he turned it down to do this movie.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp.
But I'm kind of glad because I think Kurt Russell did a better job. It just so I'm kind of
Yeah,
glad.
you really fucking hate Wyatt Earp. The
I
movie.
really do. It's so bad.
Yeah. It's weird, like there's Kevin Costner was having a string of like misses throughout the 90s.
So I do want to revisit Waterworld just to
Yeah.
like
I heard
see it.
Waterworld was more due to like studio interference as opposed to
That makes sense. But I still want to revisit it because I do remember liking it. So we'll see if it holds up. But the
it's basically Waterworld, Mad Max on the water.
yeah, but I definitely feel that I'm so glad that Kurt Russell got this role in Tombstone as opposed to Kevin Costner.
Mm-hmm.
I think at least in this style of movie, I would say Kurt Russell's definitely the better actor. I
Mhm.
mean, just I really felt his performance, like especially like after like Virgil's been shot, Morgan's been killed,
Mhm.
and it's like I'm coming after you, hell's coming with me.
Mhm.
It's like it's this kind of this really great gritty scene
Mhm.
that where you feel like
Yeah, you
the
feel like like all of his anger is like focused on this particular group of people. It's like you feel like the anger. It's like not necessarily
yeah.
that you're feeling anger directed out towards you, but it's like you just feel like like the anger and hate like radiating from Wyatt Earp.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Hmm. And like it's like he and he's kind of it's like it's like a very biblical kind of anger.
Oh yeah. Um, I'll be a Huckleberry.
You I'll be a Huckleberry. Oh my god, dude, fucking Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday is the coolest fucking character I think in cinema.
Yes, he's so great.
Right? He's like
He's so much
so
better than
nonchalant, and it's like even like him like kind of diffusing the whole initial meeting with Johnny Ringo. We kind of
yeah.
like when he just like kind of like plays the buffoon and like twirls around his cup. It's like, oh man.
Now I will say, okay, one positive about Wyatt Earp, I
Mm-hmm.
did not hate Dennis Quaid's Doc Holliday.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did like his performance as Doc Holliday in that,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually really liked Kirk Douglas's performance as Doc Holliday in the Shootout at the OK Corral.
Okay.
Then again, I really like Kirk Douglas. I think he was a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a was, not an is anymore because
Right, right, right. He passed like a few years back, right?
a couple months ago he died last year.
Really?
Yeah, he was
What?
like 104.
Hold on. Wait a minute. When did he die? Holy shit, he did die last year. Like literally
Yeah,
last year, February 5th.
yeah.
Damn, dog.
Yeah, it was like 103 or 4 or something.
Yeah, 100. Well, his birthday is December 9th, so 2016, he would have been 100. So yeah, 2000, yeah, 104.
Yeah, it's Mr. Spartacus himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 104. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Betty White just turned 99 this
Yeah,
year. Damn. Last of the old guard.
last of the Golden Girls guard, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, damn. Man, Kirk Douglas was kind of short.
Yeah, he was.
Like 5'9". That's my height. That's how tall I am.
Yeah,
Oh. But that shouldn't be surprising.
but
A lot of celebrities are pretty average.
yeah,
Like
but
I
no,
remember a
I
buddy of mine. He owns a pretty well-known restaurant, and he told me one time John Stamos came by, and I think because we all see John Stamos as big, but that might also partly be due to the fact that he worked around children most of his career.
true. Like I would have figured like John Stamos like 6 foot.
No, but my friend who's like the same height as me roughly said like it's like same height. It's like 5'9". Jeez.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, your
But
window froze. It hasn't unfrozen.
my windows froze.
Yeah.
But I'll say like that in all three movies, I actually like the Doc Holliday um, presentation. Like I felt like the acting was done well for in all three of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But Val Kilmer was definitely the best version.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
But yeah, I don't think I have anything really else to say about like any other scenes or characters.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Really quickly, was the Josephine character better in Tombstone or Wyatt Earp?
that's actually a good question. That's another one where like, I actually, I might have to give a slight lean to Wyatt Earp on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll say this about Wyatt Earp. If it definitely delves more into the kind of like the relationships that Wyatt Earp has,
Mm-hmm.
and like as far as like the problems that like kind of have like with his like marriages and stuff. um it I mean it pretty much tells like from birth to death almost.
Yeah.
And so obviously we're going to get more detail, but it's I would have to give a slight lean to Wyatt Earp on the as far as the Josephine performance.
Mm-hmm.
I had to suspend a little bit of disbelief on in the at least in Tombstone, because she is like part of this like acting troupe,
Mm-hmm.
and yet she seems to say a very seems to be staying in Tombstone for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Though I do like the actress that played Josie in Tombstone. Obviously being the voice of Lois Lane in this Superman animated cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say another positive thing about Wyatt Earp. I'm gonna go with Josie's actress slash performance in Wyatt Earp is a little bit better.
Okay.
Plus, you see her tits.
Very nice. I might have to just watch the. I might have to just watch that part.
Yeah.
Uh, no, okay, all right. Okay, so you got nothing else to add?
I got nothing else to add. I think I've talked about like some of my favorite points of Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
I find it funny that like we did 310 to Yuma,
Mm-hmm.
and we've done Tombstone, and I obviously I've watched like a bunch of the other kind of like what I felt were the corresponding films to Tombstone,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's all kind of like happening in the same like region, like all the places like Bisbee and Contention and
Oh yeah,
all these
yeah.
places. Like it's all like the same area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all in Arizona.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think of westerns and like with Texas and or whatnot, but really it's Arizona.
Yeah, well, unless like you're watching like One Eye Jacks, Marlon Brando's western, which is like all pretty much like in Monterey, where it's like a beach western,
I see.
which is not a bad movie. I actually really liked One Eye Jacks.
Okay. All
So
right.
next time we do a western month, we'll do that movie.
All right. Something to check out.
It's free on Amazon too. It's a great movie.
There you go.
It's definitely Marlon Brando loving Marlon Brando, but that.
That's funny.
It's a little bit of a side note. The thing is, so um, Stanley Kubrick was actually going to be the director of One Eye Jacks
Mm-hmm.
the for that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he getting into a huge fight with like Marlon Brando and ended up leaving the project, which is why Marlon Brando ended up directing it.
Do you know what the fight was about?
Pretty much, Marlon Brando being an ass, kind of like a selfish ass.
Mm-hmm.
And
was it to the level of like Apocalypse Now, where he like gained like 20 pounds?
No, because this was Marlon Brando's project. He was I think he was part of the he wrote the screenplay or like did part of the screenplay, and a lot of people didn't like the story, and or like he didn't like Marlon Brando didn't want to like cut a bunch of stuff out of it, and so
it was his baby. It was his baby.
Yeah, a lot of people raised a lot of hell about it, and he aired out like, okay, well, if you have problems with like the you have 3 minutes to air out all your problems with the film, and then by the time they got to Stanley Kubrick, it's like time was up, and it's like, and Stanley Kubrick just like said, you know what, fuck you, Marlon, and he left.
Nice.
But that would have been I actually would have really liked to have seen a Stanley Kubrick take on Western movies. I think that could have been great.
Right. Kubrick never did a Western, right?
No. I mean, I guess you could consider like Spartacus kind of like a Western, but I think that is more like a sword.
I think that's a stretch.
Yeah, that's like more of like a sword and sandal.
Yeah, that's definitely sword and sandals.
Plus, like Kubrick, like kind of like denounced that movie as like that's not his movie.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Kirk Douglas came in and like did a lot of stuff too, right, during like the editing.
Yeah. Well, Kirk Douglas was like he's also like a pretty big like personality too, right. And they did Paths of Glory together, which is a great movie. But Spartacus, like it was more of a studio project that hired Stanley Kubrick. It wasn't necessarily Kubrick's own project that he was working on.
Yeah, did he only get that job at the endorsement of Kirk Douglas?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, if you don't have anything else to add, I don't have anything else to add.
I have nothing else to add on Tombstone.
So yeah, let's give our ratings for this movie.
I'm gonna give Tombstone a 3.5.
Wow, that was the bump of a half a rating.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. I like Tombstone. I will definitely watch it again. I don't in the half star, it's not Wyatt Earp, so it's already automatically like a better movie. But yeah, I think it's a good Western. I think it's one that everyone should watch. But it's not my favorite. I think it has like I said, the problem, I like the ending. I felt like honestly, like the whole, like they should have done the montage. Two things.
Yeah, you're not getting that much for the ending.
Okay, so here's like after the whole like time where Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, he is like, and hell's coming with me. It kind of cuts into like this whole like montage. I kind of would have liked to have seen less montage and like him like kind of like taking out like more of the main guy. Like maybe like there was like be like one big shootout like with all of them. And the fact that like Johnny Ringo was kind of like the big guy, but then they have another whole like 5 to 10 minutes of montage of them fighting more guys, shooting out more guys. It's like I
get it. It's the mop up scene. It's like the last dragons. I mean, even like that scene where like Ike is running away and like he undoes his stash and throws it away and like they let him off the hook.
No, like I said, in reality, that's probably more of the truth.
Mhm.
But for a movie, I would have I would have rather seen like Johnny Ringo be the last guy, and then cut to the epilogue at the end. Um, but yeah, as far as like westerns go, like I've seen like it's not my favorite western. It's a good one. It's in my
All right.
top 15.
Okay. Okay.
But it definitely, like I said, it deserves a lot of credit. It's greatly acted. It's like I said, I think it's great. It's good. Watch it, and then watch it like 2 or 3 more times because it's great.
Right. This is not Wyatt Earp.
Definitely, it's not White Earp. God,
All right. Well, if you didn't know, I give this a 5. It's my favorite western, or and it's definitely within my top 5. This movie is also kind of tied to my child. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real, and I'm gonna let you guys know that that 5 rating is also propped up by a lot of nostalgia for this movie.
I definitely get that.
Yeah, something I watched as a young child, and it informed a lot of my not only my movie taste, but also maybe like my own my own unique idiosyncrasies, or maybe not unique idiosyncrasies, but help to form some of my idiosyncrasies. Particularly from the performances of Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell.
Oh, Val Kilmer is great in this movie.
I know he's the coolest fucking character. All
Oh,
right.
hands down. And
Yeah,
that's saying a lot.
Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday is the coolest fucking character in cinema.
Yes, he is.
All right, I put him on par with Han Solo and Indiana Jones and like all the really cool characters in cinema. It's just Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday, bam, right at the top, at least top 5.
Listen, I like in all 3 films. I liked all the Doc Hollidays, but Val Kilmer definitely is the peak.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, that will do it for the review of Tombstone. Robert gives it a 3.5. I give it a 5. It is a movie to watch. You must watch this, or we can never be friends.
Yes, sure, I will agree on that one.
All right, you must watch this movie, or we can never be friends. But yeah, do yourself a favor and watch Tombstone. Do yourself a favor and watch the Man Who Shot Liberty Vance 2. It's a good movie. My rating of a 4 is still good. It's still high. It's still up there.
I mean, you can be wrong. That's fine. It's just
I think we already established that I am never wrong.
Except in this one case.
No, we've already established it. All right, by your constant referral to Wyatt Earp and how much it sucked and how much you hated it, even after my warnings for you not to watch this movie, you still went and did it. So we have established that I am always right.
The thing is, though, I did it for the fans. I did it for Nocturnal Transmissions. It was a sacrifice. I fell on the sword of Wyatt Earp.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to.
Sure, I didn't have to.
You didn't. Yeah, it was even watching Wyatt Earp was not even necessary for you to review Tombstone. It really wasn't even necessary.
Well, I mean, Tombstone would have gotten 3 stars had I not watched Wyatt Earp.
And I could have lived with that. What I can't live with is you're constantly bitching about how much Wyatt Earp sucks. Okay, because you become that chick. You become that woman who constantly talks about her ex in front of the new boyfriend.
Hey, it provided fun content for everybody to talk about. Sometimes they want a little bit of negativity. We didn't have any news topics, so what else was I supposed to talk negatively about?
Well, I guess. but we firmly established that I am always right. It is beyond a question. It is beyond refutation. It is beyond reproach that I am always right.
Say me.
All right. Anyways, that's the last bit of the show for you tonight. Got nothing else. Had nothing else planned. Robert, did you want to say or?
I'm kind of a little bit sad that the Western month is coming to an end. We're gonna end next week on True Grit, the original and the remake. I'm probably gonna talk a little bit about Rooster Cogburn because I'm gonna watch that too. Which I didn't even know was a fucking movie. Which was a kind of a sequel to True Grit, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same character, but. It's kind of in a way it's kind of like the Sam Gerard character from Fugitive when he got his own kind of movie in U.S. Marshals. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But which is like I'm still gonna watch it, and we'll maybe talk about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least I will.
Yeah.
Just like,
right. You're just gonna be bitching about it the entire time.
I have a feeling it's going to be better than White Herb. That's for damn sure.
All right. Okay. Well, that'll do it for us tonight. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure did. I'm sure Robert did as well.
Yeah. It's I mean, I fell on my sword to watch White Herb, but that's all right.
You just committed seppuku. All right, that's what you did. All right, you didn't have to fall on your sword, but you did. You wanted to.
Hey, I did watch another good movie. The Shootout at the OK Corral with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas is a good movie. I highly recommend that too.
All right, but again, it didn't necessarily necessitate your viewing of those movies to review Tombstone, but.
No, but I watched Tombstone. I actually watched it twice, just so I could, I wanted to make sure it was a good review, and I think it was. But it's still 3.5 stars.
Okay, yeah. The half star is for it not being wider. Okay, we got it. Anyways, well, yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the library of other shows we got, the Circular Jerks main podcast, Nocturnal Transmissions, of course, and Rob's gaming show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts, Twitter and Letterboxd at PodcastCOJ, and Instagram at Circular Jerks Podcast.
And there's going to be a whole rant on White Herb.
Something to look forward to there. Anyways, thank you for joining us again. Come back and we'll do it all again next week.
Sounds good.